All right, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Yo, he brought the energy. Yo, check this out. The homie Sean was just up here talking, right? Apparently, I'm drinking estrogen right now. But I'm gonna counter that. I got so much testosterone in me, I gotta balance it out a little bit, so, you know. Now, what's up, man? How y'all doing? Y'all good? I want to send a shout out and a salute to Bedros and his team. Yo, Bedros is an incredible human being, right? I honor him, I respect him. I learn from him, he gives me advice. So give a big round of applause for Bedros and what he's put together, please. So I was in Miami working, and I flew back here today just to do this for Bedros, because that's my guy, that's how hard I rock with him, just to fly back to Miami later tonight to fly to Panama right after this. So, Bedros, you're my guy, baby. I'm here for you, baby. Wouldn't do that for anybody else. But anyway, I want to talk to y'all about a few things. I want to talk to you about a journey that I've embarked on, that I'm currently on, right? It goes way back. It's a truth of mine that might be uncomfortable for some, right? But we need those uncomfortable truths because with discomfort, with stress, that brings forth growth, right? You cannot rise to any kind of greatness without being challenged or pushed back upon. Adversary in order to rise to the occasion to be great. Just like in boxing, if an excellent fighter fights a subpar guy, he might not look that good even if he wins. But if anybody seen the Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence fight? All right, that was a fucking phenomenal fight, right? Two excellent guys. They both had the opportunity to be great. You need that, right? But that's with anything in life. A long time ago, my ancestors were marched from the Shanty lands in Africa all the way to the coast of Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, Cameroon, places like that, right? It was such a long, arduous journey. Out of every 10 people, 7 would die just on the journey, just the ruck, right? So out of that 7, there was 3 held in what's called a slave castle, then taken from there and put on ships, y'all kind of know the story, and sailed all the way across the Atlantic Ocean. Out of every 3, 2 would die, right? So out of every 10 that was initially captured, only 1 would make it, right? And I am a descendant of those ones, you feel me? So as a result of that, me knowing this knowledge of myself in history, it gives me a lot of confidence. It makes me respect myself, right? It makes me respect myself because I know that I come from the lineage of very strong and powerful people who've been whipped, who's been psychologically abused, physically abused, human trafficked in the worst way, but I'm still here, thriving, right? Fast forward. We go through a few hundred years of that. Some of us made it, some of us didn't, right? The strongest ones were breeded together, right? Because they were more efficient workers. But that was a mistake. But it was a good thing. Then it was banned. Slavery was banned, right? It was outlawed, kinda, right? They just kind of changed the terminology. So we went through a few years of that. Then that was even outlawed. But then we went through things like Jim Crow and all of these different things that we've had in this country that is a part of the fabric of this nation, right? So, fast forward from there, let's say to modern times. Here I am, 3 generations out from sharecropping, which is just a fancy term for slavery, right? 3 generations, not that long ago. I don't have, and people like me typically don't have a legacy of education, right? So our parents were trying to figure shit out, you feel me? They didn't have the right, I went to college, but I had to like do all my paperwork myself. My parents couldn't really help me because they didn't know anything about school. They had to work, right? But that's fine. So I went through that. I loved school. I loved the idea of being in a university, having a universe of information at my disposal. I love that because I love learning. I've always had an inquisitive mind. However, I didn't have the right classes amounting to anything meaningful, so I dropped out, no biggie. All right, fast forward a little bit more. Without having the right guidance as a young man, I made a lot of mistakes. I left my career of boxing before it even really took off, and I wanted to like live life and try to make some money and hang out with my friends and date girls, because you don't do any of that as a boxer. That's a solitary life. So anyway, I did that. And I stumbled upon ways that are not legal, but ways that was putting a lot of money in my pocket. And I dug in. I loved it. I was like, yo, this is what it's about. I'm gonna do this forever. I'm smart, I'm not gonna get caught, right? That's what I thought. So doing that, along the process, yeah, I didn't get caught doing what I was doing. However, something else happened. I walked in my house one night, and there was a person that did not belong in my garage, right? So this was a little terrifying because I have my brand new family upstairs, 2 little children and my woman. So I'm like, nah. I hop out the car. This is in Arizona, right to carry state. So I have my firearm behind my back. I'm like, yo, what's up, man? How can I help you? And it was actually a hilarious conversation, because he was like, can I help you? I was like, that's a good one. What are you doing here? He said, this is my father's house. That's hilarious, right? I'm like, all right, bro, what's up? What's really going on? And he's like, what do you have behind your back? Oh, this? So he runs in the house. I follow him. And I started doing what any of y'all would have did in here to protect your house, right? So, police come. I'm thinking everything's good. You know, you watch the movie, somebody breaking your house, you do what you gotta do, right? Wrong. So as I'm telling the story, I'm being very truthful and forthcoming about everything that happened. But I messed up. Arizona did not have what's called like a castle doctrine or a stand your ground law at the time. So they were like, well, sir, in the state of Arizona, you have to match force for force. You have the right to remain silent. I'm like, what? You ever been in a situation to where something is being confronted to you and it's like your brain is processing, but it doesn't make sense, it can't? My vision started going like this, rapidly, I couldn't control it. He's reading me my Miranda rights, he handcuffed me, and they took me to jail. I bond out immediately, like within 24 hours, $158,000. But you pay 10% and put up collateral, so it's about 16 grand. A few days later, they dropped the charge. I'm like, oh, no shit. Only for a few more days later, they reclassified it from aggravated assault with a deadly weapon to manslaughter. The injuries persisted, and a few days later, he transitioned, okay? So now I'm like, what the f? This cannot be happening to me. So I go through the adjudication process, so I try, and they were being very unreasonable with what they were trying to offer me, right? They're offering a plea. If anybody know anything about the criminal justice system, nobody wants to go to trial. The state don't want to go to trial, and the person that's defending themselves don't want to go to trial. It's very expensive, and whoever loses big, right? So they try to come up with a deal, a plea agreement. A deal's supposed to be like something better than what can possibly happen. But what was good to them was like 15 years. I'm like, yo, you gotta be kidding me. I have no priors. This is self-defense. Like, what's going on? Now, I do not think that what I did that night warranted me to go to prison, right? However, there was a lot of things that I was doing that warranted me to go to prison. I have to be honest with myself. So I started thinking, and I'm going through the process, and it's not looking good, right? So I came up with a plan to take matters into my own hands, right? So one day, it was looking worse and worse and worse, and I was letting it get close to trial date, right? And what I did, they had an ankle bracelet on me. I took my scissors, I cut that bracelet, I threw it, hopped in the car, took off, never looked back. I gotta keep it 100. I drove to my best friend's house right there in California, T, with the camera. Aiding and abetting, sir. I went there for like one night, I hopped on the plane, took off. Nobody knew where I was at. I didn't tell anybody, because when you're on the run, anybody that knows and don't tell on you, they can get in trouble as well, okay? So if anybody on the run, don't tell nobody, right? Keep it to yourself. I kept that to myself. And I was on the run. I was a fugitive. I absconded for justice for a total of 7 years. 7 years, right? During that time, it was a grace period, right, for me to prove to myself that I am not a bad person. Because here's the reality of it. I was raised well. I had a good upbringing, good parents, good grandparents, right? Not perfect, but good people, loving people, right? My grandparents, they had passed away by this time, but I used to think about all the time, like, damn, grandpa will be so disappointed in me. Grandma would be she's gonna pinch me. You know what I'm saying? Because she would pinch me. Y'all know them pinches the grandmas do, like like a tiny piece? It hurts so fucking bad. You still feel it after like she's done. Like, it's messed up, child abuse. But anyway, I had a moral conflict because I'm like, yo, I don't deserve this. And before that happened, I was already trying to transition out of doing what I was doing to go 100% legit, right? So I wasn't feeling good about what I was doing. My conscience was eating me up. Now, I had been tested. You know, before that, I made a lot of money illegally, right? And what I was selling was marijuana. I was wholesaling it from the West Coast to the East Coast, right? It's legal now. Like, ain't that some shit? But it's just wild. But they wasn't getting their taxing on it, so, you know, they had to, you know. So anyway, extortion wasn't official yet, but it was illegal back then, and it was wrong. If it's illegal, it's illegal. So fast forward, I'm being tested, like, I'm afraid. Everywhere I go, I'm just nervous, right? I had an apartment, and every day that I would go home, I would fantasize in my mind, like, when I get off the elevator and turn my corner, they're gonna be there waiting for me. This was in my mind every day. I had a dark cloud over me every day for 7 years, right? Every time I seen a police officer, I got nervous. When I would see them in traffic, I would feel like they're a shark, and I'm just a fish. I'm like, let me just slide over here, whatever, but nothing ever happened. Had some close calls, but nothing ever happened. So remember, I had a lot of money right before that, and I lost it all like that, boom. And I had cars, I had so many things, and I couldn't hold on to any of them, right? And I just accepted it. I'm like, look, you didn't get it right, so of course you're not gonna be able to hold on to these things. I wanted to sell this, sell that, because when you're on the run, how are you gonna make money, right? People typically get caught within a month or two after they go on a run because they're doing illegal things to sustain themselves, right? However, I'm not the average person. I did a ton of research before I did that, right? I seen what I can do. Can I travel? Can I get a job? Are they gonna run my Social Security? All of these things. And I was good. So I was able to get a job. I worked at a gym as a personal trainer. That's what I know how to do. One constant thing in my life, I've always worked out. I've always been in shape. So I did that. I worked for a gym for about a year, but I had a plan. I'm gonna do that year, and then I'm gonna go independent, work for myself. That's exactly what I did. I wrote it all down. Did that, right? And I was making like $3,500 a month. And I'm talking about training everybody, bringing in, like meeting and surpassing the quotas for the gym. It was all on my back. And they would give me $3,500 a month in California, of all places, right? However, I picked up a lot of good things working from them, right? The structure of personal training and selling it and this, that, and the third. So, started working for myself. Around this time, social media was really starting to take off, Instagram in specific. So I had a YouTube channel in which I would upload my clients' progress video because I thought it was more compelling than just a before and after picture. And it was. People loved it. It was getting me a lot of clients. I had a lot of clients, right? Give me a lot of business. Every now and then I would throw a little video up of myself working out, doing something crazy that I do, and people really liked it. So my social media started growing and growing. I'm like, yo, I'm not supposed to be doing this. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. And my biggest demographic was law enforcement and military. I'm like, what the So I'm like, you know, when you're doing something like that and time is going by and your life is kind of normal, you're thinking like, I'm good, right? It was still, that dark cloud was still there, but I was getting more and more comfortable, right, every day. Things start going crazy, right, as far as social media, the frenzy, viral videos, opportunities were presenting themselves, and I started my first business, legal business, while a fugitive. Then I started another one. And then my life is good. I completely purged all of my old ways and all of the old people from my life, right? I gave myself that grace period, and I showed and proved that I was not a bad person, right? Then one fateful day, I'm sitting outside the gym. I see a sheriff's car drive by, then an unmarked, then another sheriff's, then like 3 more unmarked cars. I was like, damn, Gina. Damn. I sat there, I'm not gonna run. You know, the marshal came up to me, US Marshal. If y'all know anything about US Marshals, they come hard. They come and shit up, right? Straight up, they're like a torpedo. But they came and they was very respectful. He said, what's your name? I was like, you tell me. I ain't saying nothing. What you know? He said, I know who you are. He said, look, you're a good person. We've been tracking you for a while now. Just get this behind you and move on with your life. And I was like, thank you. But in my mind, I'm like, I'm about to be wrapped up for 15 years, right? But when you're a fugitive, they do what's called a FOJ enhancement, fugitive of justice enhancement, because you've embarrassed the government. That's what they say. So they add extra time. That's an aggravating factor, right? So now my bond goes from $158,000 to $500,000. I'm like, real, son. They had me in jail in California. My case was in Arizona. You can't bond out of the place of a state that's not where the offense occurred. So I had to sit there until they felt like transporting me to Arizona. That sucked, right? So they transported me. I bond out, 50 grand, 10% in collateral. And we go through the adjudication process. And I hired a phenomenal attorney. He beat the shit out of that case. And I'm a free man. A free man. Now, this is not something that I would recommend anyone do. Like, right? I had a friend who, he missed court, became a fugitive, and he's like, big bro, I'm gonna do like you. I said, absolutely not. Settle your affairs and turn yourself in, right? What I did, that was just, you know, can't explain it. But anyway, my life path and his life path completely different. Moral of the story is this. I gave myself that time to prove to myself whether I'm a good person or not, right? Let me tell you how hard that was. I'm a very dominant type of person. I'm a leader. In every place of my life, I've always been the guy, right? So when I was in the streets, I was the guy. So I had guys under me that was happy at my apparent demise, what they thought was my demise, right? I'm hearing about it. It's infuriating me. This is before everything got good. I wanted to go back and hurt them. It's like I can't do nothing, but I can be violent, right? I can go and ruin your life, like mine is already ruined, right? Not what's up, right? It was a lot of things like that that I wanted to do. You know, I know a lot of other drug dealers. I wanted to rob them, right? Like I'm making pennies, working my ass off. I could hit a quick lick and make 50 grand, 100 grand. I was thinking about things like that. Things that used to be my default settings back in the day, right? But I didn't. There's something that my father taught me when I was young. Never forgot this. The best thing he ever told me. He said, son, we are men of character. Character is not displayed or developed when times are good, when your money's up, right? Character happens when shit hits the fan, when you get fired from your job, when your girlfriend leaves you, when you're a fugitive, whatever, right? It happens when times are hard. What are you gonna do? Who are you now? What's up, bro? How you doing, man? See you in a minute, right? So are you gonna lie, steal, cheat, do illegal things? Are you gonna be rude to people because you're going through some shit? No, he says, smile, don't tell anybody your problems, and fix it. Get yourself out of the deficit, right? You be accountable for your at all times. It's never anybody's fault what your shortcomings is. It's your fault. So deal with it, or be a loser and die, right? So that stuck to me, right? Y'all can go and give it up. That was a bar. That resonated with me so much, right? And that seed that my father planted in me, he nurtured it, and it flourished and it grew, right? And that was like the biggest test of my life, right? And I have no doubt that I'll have more tests before the casket drops, because that's what life's about, right? And I openly accept it, right? Because what did I say earlier? Without great or formidable opposition, one does not have the opportunity to be great. So the bigger the problem is, the bigger the issue is, the more opportunity you have to be great, right? And I don't know about y'all, but I live my life predicated on the fact that I'm gonna die one day, right? Or transition. And I want motherfuckers at my funeral being like, yo, he was the fucking man. You know what I'm saying? He did this. He treated us good. He, you know, things like that. So that's all legacy, right? And it's all what we teach in our children, is what we leave behind. I know a lot of y'all probably got decent sized social medias. You gotta plant seeds in the people that's following you, that's supporting you, of something positive, something good, something powerful, right? Because we all know all of the things that we complain about in this country, right? Masculinity is under attack, men are weak. Instead of complaining about it, let's be the guy that we're talking about how everybody else should be. Let's be that example, right? I live by that. You're not gonna hear me complaining about it, especially right here in America. All right, so is this not the greatest country on earth? Is it? Yeah, right? Like, listen, that's not hyperbole. It's really the greatest country on earth. The poorest person in America is richer than majority of the people on the planet. The poorest. I have an organization called Dirty Angels. We go out and we give hygiene kits, we feed people, give them sweaters and stuff. These homeless motherfuckers got TVs, phones, pets, girlfriends. I'm like, yo, y'all chilling. They have cards in which the government loads money on. Like they have more than middle class people in other parts of the world. Like I've been to Haiti, I've been to some places that you're just like, there's no roads, no hospitals, no electricity. You know what I'm saying? We are so fortunate. We truly live in the greatest place on this planet, right? So the next time you want to fix your goofy, spoiled lips to complain about some shit, you feel me? Think about the people who ain't got nothing and that are fucking happy and look healthy as shit. Yo, we was in Haiti during COVID. Everybody looked ripped, abs, you know what I'm saying? I mean, homeless people got abs, but you know, everybody looked good. They were thriving. They wasn't like moping around. We mope around for the goofy, it's raining. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. So you have to, all of the things, the resources, information that you need to be successful, whatever success is to you, is in an abundance. It's all around you. But your mind have to be calibrated to an extent to where you can see it. You know what it looks like when it's in front of you. And don't just recognize it, use it. I'm sure there's some phenomenal, I'm not sure, I know there's phenomenal speakers throughout this whole event. Don't just be motivated by what these people are saying. Use it. If you got something from it, use it, right? Don't let this be just entertainment, because sometimes information is taken and just used as entertainment. Like, oh, I felt good, it's an emotional response. But no, use it to your benefit, all right? Use everything. And I embody this right here too. I always say, only good things happen to me. Literally, only good things happen to me. I don't allow negative things to happen to me at all. You could try me, you can ask me anything. Well, what about this? What about that? I can tell you how that was a benefit and a positive to me, right? When I was incarcerated, I started writing my ebooks, working on my digital assets. I started making money in jail. I made jail my bitch, you feel me? So that's how I do life, and that's what y'all gotta do too. It makes life so fucking easy, all right? Look, the world is yours if you want it. You just gotta believe it and grab it and be good to yourself. Love yourself for real, right? A lot of people with the negative self-talk, oh, I can't do this, or I'm stupid, or don't do that. Tell yourself positive things. You plant positive seeds in your mind and in your heart, and your subconscious mind will make it a reality, all right? So that's all I got for y'all. Appreciate y'all. Much love.